My speech is to inform you all on the history of the Amtrak and how it affects our modern life. The Amtrak has given people a world of opportunities, from jobs to transportation to seeing the world. And it's been around for a very long time. There are lots of things impacting this system, though, and what it will become in the future. Before we get into this, I'd like for you to get a little comfortable and keep an open mind, because I just might tell you a little something you haven't known before. Can you believe that people used to walk everywhere? Me either. Because, I'm in a car and anyways. Or they used to have a buggy and a horse carrying them. Crazy. Good thing that isn't anymore, because we have options now. And many would agree that times have changed drastically from then, and the amount of options we have these days seem endless. People could make a trip across the world in a metal cylinder, or drive to and from as they please. And we also have more traditional methods, such as the Amtrak railway system. But before we get into all that, I would like to say thank you for giving me your time and for being here listening to this historical insight and the effects of the Amtrak today. Today, I will have the honor of sharing with you how the Amtrak came about, insight on some disaster prevention methods, the effects of climate change on the Amtrak, and how it has the possibility of becoming something more in the future. In the Amtrak Historical Society, it states that in 1830, Tom Thumb, a steam engine, was the first steam engine train that pulled a passenger cart 13 miles from Baltimore to Maryland. That was a big achievement back then. And following that, the first transcontinental railroad was opened on May 10th, 1869. It ran from Nebraska to California, meeting in Utah. Before, passengers would have to travel changing trains several times, luggage, everything. And that was due to the fact that the tracks that they're on, they're called gauges. Many of them weren't all the same size, so starting in the 1800s as well, they developed a new system, a standard system of gauge size, so that people could travel without having to change the trains 20 times. I also chose to incorporate suicide bombing, which is a threatening disaster in this as well, to give attention to these issues and their seriousness, because it impacts and affects many lives. The TSA, the Transportation Security Administration, has now partnered with Amtrak to create technology that can detect whether someone is concealing an explosive device, such as a suicide vest or a bomb. The system will be implemented and use screen technology. I don't know if you're familiar with how it's through the TSA at the airport. They get to see. They're going to have a tripod, and it's going to screen the people themselves, and the way that it can know if someone has it is because the bomb itself will block the natural body emissions and create a different color on the screen, and the worker will know then, hey, they got a bomb. My final topic I'd like to talk about, not my final, but my third topic, I'd like to touch on is the bullet train. Since 1971, Amtrak has been attempting to create a better system, spending nearly $23 billion federal dollars, but had been unsuccessful for a very long time. More recently, though, Amtrak has created a new line called Acela, and it is said to be successfully running passengers by 2021. This train is going to be able to go faster, hold more passengers, and cut down commute time. And from what they said, it will run from Boston through New York to Washington, D.C. So that seems like a promising thing. From this all, I would like to think you are able to take away that our world is changing every single minute. Sometimes the traditional way of doing things aren't always the most conventional, but we learn to overcome and adjust. Even though the biggest of things, whether it's from emplacing a system for disaster prevention on the Amtrak, to seeing the future of what it could possibly become, and ending with the relentless battle of climate change. The rising issue of climate change has and will continue to take a toll on the Amtrak's railroad system. Unfortunately, one area that is nearly the busiest of them all will suffer from upcoming issues. The Boston Washington route. The track bed is being threatened by erosion from flooding, sea levels rising, and storm surges, which also contribute to the signals. They will be that direct the train. They will also be ruined along with those, and leaving the electrical poles to collapse. And although this portion will be hit the hardest, the other sites will experience issues as well, such as flooding at least once or twice a month. This multi-layer study was completed in April 2017, but kept private until November 2018, and the document outlined facing a 10-mile section that is dangerously close to water. On an ending note, though, there are solutions that they're attempting to implement, but at the moment, they're very, very costly, leading to the question if it's more costly to fix and keep running or save more by shutting it down. But they released a statement saying that they will not say if they will or won't, because it'll cause too much confusion for the public. So hopefully when the time comes, they'll figure that out. I would like to thank you for taking this time out of your day to listen to me on this minuscule but important aspect of the Amtrak we are facing directly or not every day. I do wish you the best and hope that you were able to leave with a little more than you came.